Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's that time of year again. It's time to share the love. So for this tutorial, I made this chocolate cake topper that I also used some isomalt and some sugar candy or rock candy to make this topper and the other decorations. And I also added a gold splatter and a gold drip that contains no chocolate whatsoever. So stick around, we'll get right to it. And we gotta start by filling our cakes. I'm just using a 6-inch cake. I believe this is 4 layers of cake. And filling it and crumb coating it with my American buttercream. I will link the description or the recipe and the tutorial in the description box below. And I am not damming these because my buttercream was firm. The room is chilled, or it's cold where I work now. And I turn the heat down when I'm not in the studio. So the buttercream sitting there kind of firmed up. So I didn't have to worry about it. But if this was for a delivery, I would definitely, or a pickup, I would definitely dam it because as it comes to room temperature, you might run into some bulges if you do not dam it with some thickened buttercream. So just do what I say, not what I did. And just making sure that I got all those crumbs locked in with the crumb coat and pop it in the freezer for a good 10 minutes to firm up. And then I went in with some more buttercream. Same recipe, I just added a little bit of soft pink, a tiny bit, and a little bit of ivory to get that nice kind of pastel-y pink. I didn't want a bright pink. I wanted this to be more soft. And I applied it with a piping bag this time. I do change it up. Sometimes I use a piping bag, sometimes I just use my spatula. It all just kind of depends on what I have on hand and what is readily available. And then I'm just spraying some water to help smooth the buttercream. Make sure you put some buttercream on that top there. And go for that sharp, crisp corner if you can. I know it takes practice to get that. It does take time. If you do struggle with that, you can use those plastic discs, the acrylic discs. Those really help me get better at making my sharp corners. And then I'm just using candy melts, again with soft pink with a little bit of ivory, and using these different heart-shaped silicone molds. Tapping out the air bubbles and then setting them in the refrigerator to firm up. It's the same technique with all the different molds, you just get different patterns. I was going for a variety of hearts and a couple of kissy lips. Why not? 'Tis the season for kissy lips and hearts. And I really like this particular silicone mold right here. I did not use the other one. I didn't like the way those came out as much, but I do like those. The one that I did use, they have the actual creases that you would see in lips when they're pursed, when they're kissy face. And this heart-shaped mold, it's actually, I think it's for soap. Or for, if you're doing epoxy, it's for that. But I have found as long as you haven't used it on anything else, there's all kinds of molds. There's clay molds, there's epoxy molds, there's jewelry molds. There's all kinds of molds. Just see what you can find. I wanted to add, since I'm gonna do some hearts that have these rock candy, I wanted to make them pink also. So what I did is I just put a little bit of Everclear in there. You could use vodka or lemon extract. Any of those will work. Put a little bit of color in there, and then that's a simple way to add color to your white or clear candy, rock candy. And I put a little bit of spray cake release on these metal molds or metal cutters. Don't use plastic because you're gonna put some hot isomalt in there. And then I just layered in the rock candy and a little bit of the clear sugar crystals by Wilton, and then poured over the melted isomalt on top. Now just make your isomalt according to the directions. And just set those aside and let them cool. And once they have cooled, you'll find that you have 2 different surfaces. You can go with the textured one or the smooth one, whatever one you like better. And these do release from the cookie cutters fairly easily. If you do struggle with that a little bit, just go ahead and use a blowtorch and torch the outside of the cookie cutter a little bit and it will release. Now I'm arranging these to make this topper. I wanted it tall, but I wanted it stable. So I am building up these chocolate pieces around the rock candy heart. I kind of went for kind of a geode look with that. But I'm just adding a little bit of melted chocolate, sticking them together. Now that's not going to be enough to hold it together permanently. So I put a towel on top of that, used another board, flipped it over to give it that towels to give it support, and then add some more chocolate to the back. Now this is not one of those type toppers where you're going to really want to show the back of the cake because there's really no way to pretty this up. Unless you added some hearts to the back, but you're going to still from the sides, you're still going to be able to see what's going on in there. So I just didn't worry about it too much. And then I just used the skewer. I lined it up so that it's touching each one of the hearts. I kind of kept that in mind when I was figuring out how to do this, how I wanted them arranged. And then just add some more chocolate to secure your skewer to the hearts. And then I just used the extra rock candy and sugar crystal combo that I have there to kind of blend in that bottom edge. You don't have to do this part, but I didn't want to waste it. So I just went ahead and put it on there. And then I'm just brushing them up from the bottom just a little bit. This is messy. You're going to have stuff all over the place, but just kind of clean as you go. And I left that top edge rough because I knew I was going to do a gold brush technique on that top edge. And I'm just adding a little buttercream behind these bottom decorations. And since you have a skewer on the top ones, you can just stick those directly. You don't really have to do much else. Now there is a toothpick behind that heart in the middle. It's too heavy to hold itself up. So I just stuck the toothpick in the chocolate a little bit and then put it into the cake and put buttercream underneath the heart to get it to stick. Now to get those blue ones shiny, I just used a little vegetable shortening, brush that on, and shine them up. I like the contrast of the matte of the pink, the shiny of the blue, and then the kind of shininess that you get from the rock candy also. And I'm just using a mixture of gold luster dust and Everclear to touch up that top rim with the gold. And then I will use the same mixture thinned out a little bit with a little bit more Everclear to do the splatter, and you'll see me do that in a minute. And all I do for that is I just dip it in the thinned out mixture and just throw it at the cake, basically. I'm just throwing it. Can you see me doing that? I'm doing it fast, but this is obviously sped up. But just kind of throwing it at it, because I wanted it to be on the cake and on the hearts. And you can add as much or as little of that as you want. And to make the drip, I did something a little different. I used just vegetable oil and luster dust and mixed them 1 to 1. 1 teaspoon of luster dust to 1 teaspoon of the vegetable oil. Now, there is another technique that I will try that I haven't tried yet. It's basically this, but then you add powdered sugar. Now, I love the way that this dripped, but what I did notice is that it did not want to stop dripping. So next time I'm going to add some powdered sugar to try to thicken it up just a little bit so that it stops dripping. I mean, if you set it in the refrigerator, it's going to slow down and eventually stop dripping. But as soon as that comes to room temperature again, those drips are probably going to continue to move down. So I really do like the way that this looked. Look how it's so shiny and pretty. But I'm going to play a little bit more with that. Doing a gold drip is pretty. And people like that, with the chocolate, and people like the chocolate gold drip because it tastes really good. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. If I can figure out how to do this without having to add the chocolate part, I will. See there, it's all done, and you can see that drip did want to continue to move down, but like I said, I'll keep playing with that technique. But I think it turned out really pretty, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you do something similar for your Valentine. And if you do, please send me pictures. I'd love to see them on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my heart cake. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.